Yeah, so I'm going to break it down for in a moment. I'm just going to let some more people join us. So I will be cutting this side of the hair. So I've already done the pre-cutting on that side. It's because I'm a bit of a slowpoke. So you can actually see it's going to be quite strong exterior perimeter area when working with more of a textured internal area. So it's going to have kind of like the concept of like more of like a modern mod hairstyle. And yeah, so yeah. And going to be showcasing a little bit of razor work, scissor cutting as well. So both precision and texturizing. So perfect. So let's get started. So I'm going to give you a little bit of understanding about what I've done so far. Now, for the top panel, let's see here. So I had actually working with a bit of disconnection for the internal area. So I sectioned it off into 4 quadrants on the top. Okay, and I started more or less my internal area here first, and then going into the external. Then working with the sides, as you can see, a very strong graphic outline. But I'm really focusing on the internal area first. So now the way I actually started it, just making sure this is just water, just putting that in. Now the way I actually started it first was actually I put, more or less, I took a horizontal section here and I used that as kind of like my guideline. So I use that as my guideline because then that's when I go into my graduation. You know, once again, as we see on the other side, very strong shape here. You can see with a lot of texture, a very strong perimeter shape, okay? So on this side here, we're going to go back. And I'm actually going to be working with slightly vertical diagonal sections in order to keep a little bit of weight behind the ear area. Now, I will be working inside my fingers at this point. Yeah. And I'll be using that section that I just cut, the horizontal, I'm actually going to be using as a guide. So yeah, so let me know where you guys are watching from, and I'll give you a bit of a shout out. So it's great that I'm a regular educator here at Hairbrained, and I know I'm kind of like helping out a little bit more just because the Hairbrained team has been so busy. They just had the Hairbrained Awards for the videos and everything. So myself, I'm getting ready. I just got back from Poland where I was doing a barbering show there. And then I'm off to Athens, Greece with a company called Lemon Poppy Seed. And yeah, so I go on Thursday. So we're doing a photo shoot, we're teaching classes and so forth. So very, very excited here. So now all I'm doing is I'm just slightly over directing back to my previous. Working inside my fingers. And then coming, like I said, coming downwards here. And then you'll see at the very end when it's all dry, that's when I'm going to be doing the perimeter shape. So I'm just going to continue. It's almost like my final section behind the ears. And then we're also going to be talking about the color as well. So I actually pre-colored this using a brand called 4 Hair Color, which is made in the UK. So yeah, so it's you're going to see especially some interesting color poking out in the fringe area or the bang area. So we have Myanmar. So I don't know where that is actually. So yeah, I'm not familiar with that, so I do apologize. Now, Myanmar. Okay, sorry. It's my pronunciation. I do apologize.
I've been to Myanmar.
So there we go. So just like I said, just keeping this working down here. And then what I'm then going to be doing is, you'll see I'm now going to be going into working with vertical sections, and I'm going to be working with layering. Okay, so if you can see on this side here, keeping it very, very flat, and then keeping a very strong perimeter shape. Then, like I said, it's like a combination of everything, you know, from texture to strength, to razor cutting, to scissor work, to even disconnection. So it's got everything involved. So we got Romania. Yes, so I'm off to Romania in April. So I'm very excited about that. So it's going to be very cool. So now, working with vertical sections, going this way, going straight. And I'm working this 180, picking this straight up. And pulling this straight down. Once again, the purpose of that, or the reason behind this is, so I'm doing a bit more of a creative hairstyle for men. So something that I would work with, I'd say about medium density of hair will work brilliant. You can also do this technique on extraordinary thick hair. Okay, but once again, there will be a lot of weight removing, so a lot of texturizing. So we also got from the U.S., yes, they have Connecticut, yes. So I'm originally from New York, but I live here in the U.K. I've been here for about, I've been here for about like 22, 23 years. So my background is that I used to work for Vidal Sassoon as an educator for them. So, okay, so now, as I'm progressing, so once again, still using vertical sections, and I'm not necessarily going to be over pulling this back at all. I'm going to be pulling this straight out from the head, because by doing that, I'm going to be reducing a lot more weight. If I pull it back, yes, it will keep the fringe, or the front area longer, but it's going to be heavier. So we also have from Pakistan as well, Pakistani barber, brilliant. My friend is going to Pakistan on Thursday, so I wish him all the best. So here we go, going to pick this straight up. Now, as you see, I'm also working over my fingers. So with graduation, I tend to work inside, and with layering, I'll work over my fingers. Right through here. Yeah. So then, as I'm getting closer to the front, here we go. Once again, I don't want to pull this back, because then it's going to be way too heavy. So I will be pulling this straight up. There we go. Just taking that weight off internally first. And so then, the reason why I'm doing that first is so I can really keep a lot of the weight in the perimeter section. So then, as you see, that's part of the fringe area, or the bang area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a clip. I'm going to get that out of the way. So pulling this straight up. And pulling this straight down. So now, as you can see, like, as opposed to this side, where I create a very strong perimeter shape here. So once again, I will be getting there. It's just that I need to do the internal area first. So I'm taking all the weight off on the inside of the haircut. Then you'll see I'm going to be able to do the perimeter. So now what I'm going to be doing is, at this point here, I'm just going to be pulling this straight out from the head. And just taking that little bit of extra weight off. It's like, with these mannequins, they could be extraordinarily thick and everything, so just reducing that here. So the reason why I'm doing that is just that because, you know, I really just want more of like a stronger shape first, and then you'll see, then I could then definitely do the texturizing afterwards. I'm gonna, you know, right here you can see, I'm using my comb. Just taking that little weight off here. This is just a very rough draft of what I'm going to be creating, as you see on this side. So here, what I'm doing is pulling this straight down, using my comb. Now, the reason why I'm using my comb is to keep very little amount of tension. So I'm not going to use my fingers, because if I use my fingers, I'm going to be graduating it. So right now, I just want to keep this extraordinary low and, you know, little to no tension. And then when it's all dry, you see, that's when I'm going to really refine everything. Okay. So I just want to say hello, everyone. So I am filming it myself. My name is Sid Saltung, and Weng, he said, this is great. Thank you so much I hope you're enjoying this. Once again, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section, and I'm going to be able to hopefully answer any questions you might have. You know, so this, like I said, this is just a very rough draft. It's the same thing when I do this in the back here. I'll be doing the fringe area when it's later on. So you can see I kind of just created lots of texture here. You can see the shape I created here. Yeah, and then you'll see the way I'm going to be doing the texturizing. You're going to be really seeing some very cool color poking out in a little bit. So now, in the back area, so before when I was doing the haircut off camera, I actually had dried this all off. So at this point, just for the essence of time, I'm going to be still working. Okay. I'm going to still keep this all wet, and then you'll see the way, just to save on the drying time. And that's when I'm going to really perfect my perimeter shape. So working the internal area. Now my sections are going to be going vertical. Now, in this case here, what I'm going to be doing is first it's going to seem like I'm rounding it off. And you see, it feels like a little disconnected here. That's okay. So I'm going to continue. Now, I only pull it just to the previous section, so I'm not massively over-directing it. Working over my fingers, so you can see, still keeping the disconnection there. And I'm going to be stopping to where the head rounds off here. Okay, so that's where I'm going to be stopping. Now, I will be doing the top now here. So I'm gonna get my water bottle. I just got this in Poland. It's brilliant. So when I go on stage and everything, and so it's quite slim. It looks like a test tube or something, or a glow stick or something. But it just fits right in my pocket, so it's quite nice. So just want a big shout out to everyone watching. So thank you very much for all your support. Once again, a big thank you to Hairbrained. For really kind of be able for myself to deliver, you know, free education to really help a lot of barbers and hairdressers out there. So I think after what barbers and hairdressers go through on a daily basis, I think it's quite nice that we're able to get something free. So, okay, so what I'm now going to be doing is, I'm going to be working the internal area here. Just making sure that I can see my guide. Now, in order to, so I just put my guide there. So I will be now going off. I'll be taking sections across the head like so. Making sure. Coming up. Now, you'll see what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be blending it in afterwards. So right now, I'm just working more the internal area. Now, same thing. There will be a slight bit of over-direction back here, just because you see the way I want to try and transform it into the fringe area. So still working over my fingers. And when again, this is my final section here. So I just Just yank it out of the fringe area here. Just getting out of the way. I'm going to continue so you can see there's like right there. So thank you, Larissa. I appreciate it there. So yeah, once again, I'm just doing a bit more of like a creative men's work. Just because one, I was fancy in the mood to do a little creative work. You know, as you can see on this side here, really working a very strong perimeter shape. You can see with the graduation going into layering. And then working with a very textured internal area. And you'll see the way I'm going to be doing the fringe or the bang area. Now, still, when we do the sides for just a wee bit of blending, I'm just going to be taking that. There's just a small bit that I'll be blending, just to help maintain a little bit of squareness now. Once again, this is all, everything I'm doing is optional in a way. You know, this is just wanting to be able to share with you. I'm not saying I'm the world's best barber, or hairdresser, or educator. No, I'm not. But what I'm doing is just wanting to be able to share with you kind of like a little bit of the way I kind of approach things and try and do a little more of a creative twist. And so, but like kind of like also approaching it in a different way where, you know, like for example, like I will learn off, you know, from my students or from other barbers and hairdressers and just, you know, see things in a different way because then, you know, because it keeps us from getting bored. So now in the back here, you're going to see a tiny bit here, right there. So that, I'm just going to keep that square. The reason why I'm keeping that square is just for a bit more of like a flattering head shape in the back because it tends to round off naturally. So vertical. Now once again, just making sure I'm just connecting it. Yeah, just this very small bit here, nothing major. Okay. Now the whole external area I'm going to do when it's all dry. Once again, as you can see, that side, creating that strength. And then I need to do this fringe area with the razor and just in a little bit. Okay. But yeah, so it's great to see everyone. So thank you very much for watching. Once again, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to put them in the comment section. Now, as I approach this here now, so I'm just going to wet the hair down here, and you're going to see the way I'm going to be approaching it, almost like a visual, like I'm going to be using the hair cutting razor. Now, first I'm going to be doing length, removing some length off, and then you're going to see on how I kind of give more of like a little blended feeling into the internal area. Okay, so I mean, so the razor I'm using, I'm actually using a hair cutting razor, with actually has like a guard or a comb attached to the blade. So, Ikfir Ahmed, thank you. You're great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm terrible like pronouncing anything. So, thank you very much. I'm very grateful. So, as we are approaching this, now, I think especially if you're not familiar with doing a razor, I think I'm really getting into it now. But as you see that I use razors, I use combs, scissors, whatever, I'll use clippers. It's like, you know, play around with a different set of tools. Okay, there's no such thing as like, you know, you can only do it one way. Because I think that would be boring. If you had to spend the rest of your life as a young barber or hairdresser doing the same haircut the exact same way, you know, 10 times a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks out of the month, you know, every year until the day you retire, that'd be really boring. So, here we go here. So, let me, I'm going to take sections now. You'll see, because of the overall length, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking sections, like almost like very horizontal here. So by taking horizontal sections, you can see I'm going to I'm going to be removing the weight here. So, okay, now, what I use first, now I'm using like a leave-in conditioner spray. This was the brand 4, which I've used a hair color. So I don't know if you could see a little sneak peek. You can see some blue in there. Oh yeah, so I colored it, a level 1 with the blue black, but also I bleached the roots. Yeah, I did. I bleached the roots, just the roots in the front, just to give it. I want to give like a little hidden, peekaboo color there. Now the reason why I use leave-in conditioner before I use a razor, it just kind of like makes it a bit more slippery, and it just works better for the hair when I'm using the razor itself. I did spray this before I did my scissor cutting. Now, a little trick is, maybe because I'm a bit old or old school, I always like to use some type of spray before I cut the hair. So in this case, if the hair was quite dry, or if I'm using a razor quite thick, I'll use a leave-in conditioner spray. Now, if I'm doing, just say, barbering, or if I'm working with more of a finer texture, I would then use a bit more of a sea salt spray. That tends to help me really clean up my sections, give a bit more accuracy, and also prepares, for the hair to accept the other products. Okay. So, now here, what I'm going to be doing is, first I'm going to be using the hair cutting razor. There we go. Yeah. So first, just going to take, I want him to have a bit of a shorter fringe. I will be going back over it when the hair's all dry with my scissors, so you can really refine that there. So now for me, at the moment I'm just using more or less the very tip or a quarter of the blade. If you want the shape to be quite heavy looking, you can use the full blade, so more horizontal. If you want it to be a bit more piecier and taking more weight off, you would use vertical. So that's kind of very similar to the way we would cut the hair with scissors. For example, so if you were doing a one-length bob, the hair, the sections would be a bit more horizontal. If you're doing layering, the sections would be vertical. So hopefully that makes sense. So it's very similar ethos, you might say, with cutting with scissors versus razor. So, and also as well, which we're going to be talking about in a second, in a moment, it's all about elevation as well. Now, we're doing tomorrow, I'm actually doing a free webinar class tomorrow night at, should be around 7:30 UK time. So the link to sign up to it is actually in the comments section. So if you have any questions or anything, or if you want further free education, please come and check out the webinar. It is in UK time. I do live in Edinburgh, Scotland, but it's totally free. Don't worry, there's no catch or anything. But if you sign up, you can sign up and check out, the free webinar. Okay, so what's happening here? So now, once again, the elevation. So the higher you elevate the hair, the more weight you're going to be removing. So in this case here, now the way I do it, I kind of I tap my index finger, and that kind of like that. So that's kind of a fun way to I can do that quick. And with me, the way I'm elevating it with my other hand. So I'm going to continue. Once again, so this is what I'm trying to create afterwards. So you'll see I'll be finishing that when it's all dry. Right now, I'm just doing the fringe area or the bang area. Now, as I move further in the back of the head, I'm raising up, elevating it. And like I said, if it's okay, it's okay if it's a bit I want it to be textured in pieces, so that's not an issue there. So once again, how high you elevate it, that's so important. So if I keep this very flat, then it's going to be maybe, it will still be textured and everything, you know, and you're still taking weight off, but it's going to be a little more heavier than as opposed to elevating this up higher. So just keep that in mind. It's the same thing, for example, when you're doing your barbering, such as scissor over combing, clipper over comb, also when you're doing your normal scissor work with sections. I want to make sure I get all these little loose bits here. Sorry, I'm kind of scraping his face right now. I don't suggest doing that on a real person. So, so I will be going back into that. Like I said, with the texturizing here. Oh, I got a bit there, and yeah. Like I said, you can actually have a lot of fun with this. Play around with the different types of texture. Yes, unfortunately, I don't have a I do have a barbershop, or I don't have a hair salon or academy. I do freelance education and everything. So I would love eventually to meet you and to be able to offer you a job. I don't have a place or anything, so I just do education. So now, what will happen is, once again, you can actually do a little bit of. You could do the whole haircut with a razor. You could do the whole haircut with scissors. There's no right or wrong way, you know. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do as artists. So we work with different type of tools. So, okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my scissors real quick. Just want to make sure here, you're right there. Just taking that a little bit more extra weight there. So that's working with vertical sections. Okay. Working with vertical sections. Why? To reduce the weight. Now, I think my mannequin's going down. I apologize. So, now, what I'm going to now do is I'm just going back over here. Then you'll see what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be blow drying this. I'm going to just put a very lightweight blow drying spray in. And that's when you're going to see me do the texturizing, but also the whole perimeter shape. And I really want to give kind of like a very strong perimeter outline, just like the other side, but as you can see, with lots of cool texture on top. Cool. So what I'm going to be using now, this is the it's like a protective heat protector spray, and what I like using is because it's very lightweight, and it keeps the hair in good condition, but also it's protecting it from the heat. But also, it's not like I can still work my comb through it, so it won't affect my scissor work. So. Now, I will be blow drying. This is called a vest brush, and this is a small one, which is a 7-row, just because he's got small hair or short hair. So hence why I'm using this size. Normally, if I was doing like a bob or a bob length or a little bit longer hair, I would actually use the 9-row vest brush. Now, the reason why I use this is because it's made out of ceramic, and also got these like little, it's like more comfortable on the scalp. So it's not really going to hurt him or anything. And if he screams or have pain, I would actually, I'd be quite interested. So we have Kitty saying hair color. Yes. So I did pre-color the mannequin today. I used a brand called 4 Hair Color, and it's made in the UK, and it's actually brilliant. So so I did do a level 1, like a 1 blue black on the top, but if you can see, it's kind of hard right here. I want to make sure, I just want to get a little more extra lighting. I did do, I bleached up the roots here, just bleached up the root only, and that's when I pre-lightened it, and then I also used the 4 hair color over that to give more of like a Nordic marine type of blue color. So now in this case here, so I will be using a nozzle. The reason why is I want this to be a bit more sleeker, and then it will help me with my hair cutting itself. So just making sure I'm going back and forth. Whoops. Going back and forth And then I'm going to really refine that. So I got still a lot of work to do. So guys, if you have any questions, please let us know. If you are interested in any of the products or equipment I'm using, please just let us know in the comment section. Or you can also check out my Instagram, where it's Sid Saltone Academy, and you can see if you have any questions, you can just contact me on there as well. So it's no problem. Also, once again, I am doing a free webinar tomorrow night, a free class. Please check out the link in the comment section so you can sign up to it. So it will be UK time, but it will be recorded. So. Yeah, so I did this side already. So once again, and you're going to see the way I'm going to recreate that side. So. But if you have any questions, I will do a recap at the very end. I'll do a recap at the very end where I will be talking about how I created the finished look. So where did I get my vest brush from? So I got my vest brush from a company called Joy Scissors, which is a distributor here in the UK. So you can also get this type of brush from Hairbrain Pro. So it's quite like a nice, beautiful brush to get. It's something I recommend. The brush is great for like sleeker looks and also for guys' hair. Because this one's a 7-row, which is a lot smoother, a lot shorter. So okay. So if you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm using the nozzle. Now I'll be using the nozzle just to really flatten this down here. Now, once again, really want to flatten it to really give a bit more of like a kind of like a modern sleeker look. Okay, so yeah, that's nice and toasty. So I'm going to raise this up a little bit higher so you guys can see. Now, what I'll be doing is, so I'm going to replicate what I did on this side here. Yeah, so nice strong graphic lines with a softer or textured fringe bang area. But then you'll see lots of cool texture on top. Now, a lot of times what I like to do is I like to put like just a wee bit of like a non-aerosol hairspray, just when I do perimeters, just to control it a little bit, to make it a little bit easier for me. So I'm going to just use, that's the brand 4. I'm just going to just do a light mist. And I'll do that even with my clippers. So just say if I'm doing a very strong perimeter shape or C-cup or edging up, I'll use a bit of hairspray just over a very lightweight spray. So yeah, I'll do that there. So now in this case here, what I'm now going to be doing, so I need to kind of work. So what I'm trying to aim for, okay. Okay, coming up. I'm going to slightly tilt. Now this is something I would do on a real person. Slightly just tilt. Now first, right now if you see, I'm just using straight cutting so far. But then in order to refine the shape, I'm just going to be using the very tip of my scissors. Get a little bit of a wave on this one side here. And that's something that I would actually spend a lot of time on. You know, like I spent I was like cutting the other side for like a good hour. Yeah, so just kind of just brushing that out a little bit. Just seeing, and I can also use my trimmers for that. So then on the other side, going through here. And then now, once again, so in this case here, now a little trick is, so I'm not going to lie to you, this little flick here is annoying me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and control that flick. I'm going to use kind of like a no bend clip here. Put a little hairspray back in there. And comb it. There we go. So I'm just going to keep that there, let it set a little bit. So it's a little trick you can do. Now here, I'm going to be pulling this down, and that's where I'm going to really refine. And once again, you can also use your trimmers, if you want to use your clippers, or if you want to keep it soft. Now, in this case, the reason why I'm keeping it quite strong, in a way, is because I really want to kind of like show the difference between the internal and the perimeter shapes. Now here, you see, I really want to kind of make that a little bit more stronger, so I'm going to work a bit more. I'm going to open that area up a little bit, just so so you can see that the overall shape, working that round, that will hopefully give the illusion of, you know, a bit more strength, and also open up his bone structure. Here we go. So I'm going to continue. I'm just going to get the hair off so I can see. And okay, now I am just going to be just touching up with the trimmer and everything. So this is a great way. Just say if you don't want to spend too much time, or you don't have time and you have to work with your clients. So I'm just going to be, sorry, my arm will be in the way. I do apologize. So that's a great way. Just tuck that behind. So I'm using the Andis right here, if you see an Andis trimmer, which is also, for me, it's actually brilliant. So, and just say what you can, a little trick you can do is, so you can actually just kind of glide that on the top, just to really kind of flatten down any excessive weight. So just almost like glide it. And also sometimes you have a little prickly hair sticking up. So this is a great way just to really... But just be mindful though, be very mindful that you don't go too deep. I've done that before and there's like a big chunk missing. So just be careful. So now we're going to bring this on up here. So, you can see now, there we go. So now I'm going to go back over working with the internal area, okay? So this is like my take on a modern mod haircut or hairstyle from the 60s. So, like I said, I can use the point of my scissors. You could go back to your razor if you want. I just choosing to use my scissors because I did use the razor before, and because sometimes the hair will stick to the mannequin because it's like plastic. So this is why how I'm getting rid of it. So. And once again, you can actually just have a lot of fun with this. You can even take that a lot shorter if you choose to, or if you want to keep it a little bit longer. So the choice is yours. You know, once again, so sometimes you might have to just pull the hair down or keep it flat, and then you can then use your point. Now, what I also recommend, if you're going in and you're just taking weight off only, try and keep that blade a little more flatter, because if you gotta be careful you don't. Sorry, I'm gonna poke my eye out. Try not to go at an angle. You might hurt the client, or you might really take a big chunk out. Now we also have the top panel here. So I will spend more time correcting this or perfecting it. So once again, everything does take a little time. Once again, I am trying to create my version of more of like a modern mod hairstyle from the 60s. And yeah, so it's a combination of strength with internal texture. And, you know, and just have a bit of fun. And you're going to see like how the color... So I'm just going to use, what scissors am I using? Oh, great question there. So I'm actually using, these are 5-inch, a brand, they're 5-inch size, a brand called Wings from Japan. They are my favorite, like, you know, I'd have to say they're one of my favorites. I use a lot of brands, Mizutani, Oka, Sakura scissors. I've used Wings. I mean, you know, I've used a lot of different brands. But these ones at the moment, I don't know what it is. I think because of, in order to see what I'm doing, I have them in silver. Instead of, I also have mine in black, so that's why I chose to use these ones. Just so I can, just so more for your benefit, so you can actually see what I'm doing a lot easier. Just because the mannequin, you know, I colored it dark, so. Hopefully that answered your question there. So, that was Michelle, yeah. These one of the things is like, you know, it's just like scissors are kind of like, you know, I always think it's like a magic wand, you know, the way they talk about it in Harry Potter. Kind of like the wand chooses you in a way, or the scissors choose you. So I think with scissors, they come in all different budgets. Just something that works well in your hands, and also the quality of the steel is really important. So depending on where you are, if you're in the States, you know, I would recommend Hairbrained because they have an online shop, and of course, if you know Gerard, one of the owners, he is a fanatic about equipment, you know, so he knows his stuff, so he wouldn't buy anything that wasn't going to be perfect for hairdressers in order to sell on. Now, if you are in the UK, I would check out Yoy Scissors. They supply scissors and equipment all throughout the UK and also Europe. Now, if we see here, so we got some length here. I'm just gonna just reduce that here. Now, let's get you a little bit closer here. So let's see if you can see the color. Okay. Now I'm gonna slightly tilt. Now at this point, you may not be able to see the color just yet. If you have any questions, Michelle, please just ask right away. It's no problem there, love. So what happens is, so I don't know if you can see a little cheeky bit on this side. So I did color the root area only. So what happens is, so sometimes we have, like, you know, the key thing is to work with the color. All right. So now what that means is, so that means I still have to do more texturizing to expose that other color there. So hopefully that makes sense. So remember, just work with the color, and you see it's like that also kind of gives you an idea, maybe what the next step to do and so forth. So what I can do is, okay, going. Now I will be working with slicing. You can also use your razor for it as well. Working with slicing, going back and forth. Open and closing. He's got a lot of hair, this mannequin. Really kind of showing off some more color. Now, once again, if you need to use a bit of point cutting, you can. You know, really have a lot of fun with that, you know. Play around, see how you approach it, and so forth. Now I do a little bit of slicing on this side. If you see, I do a backhand motion just because I'm right-handed. So I need to make sure I'm going back over this, going through here. Now, I will use a no bend right here just to keep, I want to keep the sideburn area flat. So that's a great little trick you can do, is using clips to help keep hair flat. So now at this point here, you can also pick up. I'm actually just using the very tip of my blade, open and closing, and it's like a kind of like a little like a backcombing effect. Now I'm not doing a lot. It's not going to remove like a lot of weight, but just like enough, just to add like that little bit of texture to it. So here we go. I missed a few hairs. All right, everyone. So moving along. Now once again, so in the back area, in the nape, like I said, you can do scissor over combing if you want. You could do clipper over comb. You could do clipper with guards. The choice is yours. It's whatever you want to do to create that type of style. And I think that's the thing, is is when we take inspiration for different type of styles. I mean, the choice is yours. So, you know, have fun with hair cutting. You know, I mean, there's no right or wrong way. And I'm not gonna lie, I can say that because I've been doing it for 35 years. But you know, when I was young, I didn't realize. You know, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It wasn't until I got further education and realized to be open-minded. So, all right. So now I'm literally just kind of softening those edges up there, working with point cutting. Now, like, as you can see, I'm doing all different type of, like, different things here. It's just because, one, for the benefit of all of you, just to see different ways of approaching it. And also just because I'm in the mood to have a bit of fun, you know? That's what hair cutting is about. So you can see, just keeping that. There we go. I'm not going to lie to you, I will be spending a lot more time after the video to be refining the shape. I just don't want to bore you guys too much because I can sit there for hours on end. So, but yeah, so if you have any last minute questions, because I will be moving on in a little bit. So I just want to be able to showcase and share with you some of my creativity today. I'm working with men's work, men's hair cutting. Because I think that's the thing, is it's like, you know, the one thing is that when you explore creativity, it's just like, I have to remind myself, because like, you know, try different things, try like different shapes, you know, have a bit of fun with hair cutting, you know, that's a key thing. So it's, what do you got to lose? That's why I get a mannequin, you know, I try different things, see what happens. Coming over this way. There we go. Okay, so I could take my trimmer one last time And then what we're going to be doing is going to be showing a little bit of styling. So, thank you very much, Cucina. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm just going to shake out some hair there, guys. So, just having a bit of fun. Like I said, just it's more or less trying to create more of like my version of a mod style, which is like a classic 1960s feeling. Yeah, so thank you, Michelle. This one's actually Pivot Point. So I use Pivot Point mannequins. Also, I use another brand called Square One Professional from Greece. I also will use Exalta. So there's a wide range I would use. So, but yeah, once again, guys, so please, you could check out, I'm doing a free webinar class for more education tomorrow night. If you see the link in the comment section, you could be able to sign up for it. And yeah, so cool. So I'm just doing one last texturizing, freehand just to show you. And then, yes. So don't worry, I'll be spending another 2 hours finishing this to perfect it. So here we go. Now, okay, styling products. So now I'm just going to be using a little bit of a light clay. Normally you can use styling powder. The one I normally use is Captain Fawcett styling powder. But I'm not going to lie to you, I forgot that at the shop. So I do apologize. But that's the one I normally use. And yeah, so, all right. So please, guys, check out the live. We're doing a webinar class tomorrow night. It's free. The link is in the bio. Oh, not bio, I apologize. In the comment section. So, sorry. Okay, everyone. So, you can see just kind of like a very strong graphic shape in the perimeter, but with more of like a looser internal area. So I used a bit more of like a razor in the fringe, and then with, you can see it's almost like an anti-head shape in a way. So it's going from shorter to longer. So I want a bit more of an exaggerated feel. Normally, a lot of times, it might be reversed from shorter to longer in the front. And that would be more of a triangle shape. So I'm doing everything a little more reversed.